All right, we back with the Eagles draft coverage. The Eagles just got finished picking Drew Kendall, O lineman out of BC. All right, and you got Zy Frazier out of cornerback, and cornerback out of Texas. Yes, Texas, San Antonio. Guess that's a college. Then you got the Buffalo Bills is on the clock. But that Drew Kendall, I kind of trust Stoutland and going offensive tackle. Because I knew they were going to go offensive tackle as the fifth one there. It's not an offensive tackle, O lineman, inside O lineman. I don't know. He's the old lineman, so he got to be guard and center. Or on the clock. Bills, the pick is in on for the Bills. Yeah, but I don't know too much about that Drew Kendall. I call this nigga back. I call this nigga back. I'm not going to talk about Buffalo Bills, they got cornerback John during Hancock. Patriots is on the. All right. Buffalo Bills got Jordan Hancock, cornerback. Patriots in the clock. Minnesota Vikings in the net. All right. Detroit Lions picks is in. Minnesota Vikings is on the clock. Then next is the Buffaloes, Arizona Cardinals. This next and by that and follow that. Yeah, Detroit picks. All right. The Detroit Lions got Miles Frazier, old lineman from LSU. Ramsey's on the clock. But them getting two linebackers, I didn't really understand that. Yeah. But they got look like they got like more of an inside linebacker than that. And in a way, I mean, yeah, they got an outside linebacker and all right, Buffalo Bills is on the clock. Yeah, Buffalo Bills is on the clock. Chris Paul Jr. linebacker in Mississippi. Buffalo Bills to be in Arizona's on the clock now. Needs his edge rusher, linebacker, O line, safety, followed by the Seattle Seahawks, where they needs wide receiver, cornerback, DL, OT, and Baltimore needs his O line, actually inside O line, cornerback, D line, linebacker. And they might have reached for Drew Kendall. Yeah, but they only get that at C. Yeah, they might have reached a little bit. That's first C grade they got. They've been getting B's. They got the eighth round draft pick and all up. They was getting B's. But even for that, they got a B. They got a B. I think they might have reached for Kendall. They reached for that Mac Williams. Yeah, I liked him as a tight end. Jackson Hall. I love the Eagles should have got him. They kind of needed a blocking tight end. All right. That's the end of the first round. Chris Paul Jr., Jackson Halls, tight end to finish it off. All right, now we still in the sixth round. All right, go to the fifth round. No, we still in the fifth round. The Cardinals pick Denzel Burke, cornerback. Seattle pick is in. Then next, Baltimore Ravens, where their needs is inside lineman, cornerback, DL linebacker. The Ravens is on the clock. See where the E pick again. The Eagles pick in the top of the sixth round. Yeah, they pick. They got a lot of picks. Yeah, they got a lot of picks. Yeah, it's so deep with edge rusher. All right, the pick is in for the Jets. And the Cardinals got Denzel Burke. Seattle got Ruby Uzi, tight end. Jets got Tyler Burton. Now we in the sixth round. And Buffalo's on the clock. All right. The pick is in for Buffalo Bills. Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens is on the clock. All right. Baltimore Ravens is on the clock. And the Buffalo Bills got Darian Strong, cornerback. Cornerback Darian Strong, your Virginia Tech. Followed by the Miami Dolphins. They needs is cornerback, safety, tight end, linebacker. Then next, the Raiders. Then after that, the defending Super Bowl champion, my Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, but Baltimore. The pick is in for Baltimore. Miami Dolphins is on the clock. Las Vegas, then followed by Las Vegas Raiders. The Raven pick is in. Balak Cone, cornerback. Miami Dolphins is on the clock. They need cornerback, safety, tight end, linebacker. Followed by the Raiders, then the Eagles. I want to see who the Eagles pick next. Raiders is on the clock. And the pick is in for the Dolphins. All right. Dolphins pick is in. I don't see Eagles trading back again. You're already in the 6th round. I think we actually got to actually get an edge. I don't think we're gonna get no tight end. The rest of these tight ends in this draft is trash. All right, Eagles on the board. Eagles on the board. They on the board. But the pick is in for the Raiders. Eagles is on the clock. They got J.J. Pegs from D-line from Ole Miss. New England Patriots is next. The J.A. Reed still on the board. I like APR as an edge rusher. Eagles pick is in. New England's on the clock. Well, they got Yeah, and the Eagles don't pick again till 207. Pick is in for the Patriots. And Tennessee Titans is on the board. The pick. That guy got an arm. Yeah, that guy got an arm. Yeah, he throwing dimes. That guy doing dimes. That cow. That wasn't a bad pick by the Eagles. Cal McCord. He played with Syracuse. But he was throwing dimes. The Cal McCord. Yeah, that wasn't a bad pick. Yeah, they might not even get an edge. You know, they need an edge. New Orleans Saints on the clock. Next is Pittsburgh Steelers. Yo, the Eagles pick at 91. They got a lot of picks. Yeah, I like him as the edge rusher. And Antoine Poland Roland. I like him. Then you got Josh Joyner. They might pick him. Josh Joyner is still on the board. Sure, they can get another old lineman. Uh, the pick is in. You got Devin Neal, running back out of Kansas. And then for Tennessee, they got Marcus Harris, safety. And Steelers is on the clock. The Baltimore Ravens is next. But yeah, I like that. I would like them to get that pass rusher, even though they got two linebackers. But the other guy supposed to be like a Van Hinkle, but you got one outside linebacker and one middle linebacker. Yeah. And Campbell was not an edge rusher. He's an outside linebacker. He's not an edge rusher. Yeah, he's more like Zach Ball. You know, when they picked Dunk Bowler, he was just an edge rusher. So that's special team. All right, Baltimore Ravens is on the clock. And the pick is in for Steelers. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they pick is in. The Ravens is on the clock, followed by the Houston Texans. The Eagles picking at 91. All right. Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Nigga, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? I'm calling this nigga back. Another turn. All right, y'all, we back. Jalen Reed got beat by the Texans. Tyler Loop, kicker. Will Howard, quarterback. Colts got 2 picks. 189, 190. Then it's the Eagles again. Colts is on the clock. Tennessee Titan pick running back Caltal Mullins. Catal Mullins. But all right. Indianapolis is on the clock. They got back-to-back picks, 189, 190. Then my Eagles is next. Then the Seahawks. I had him on my mock draft, Jalen Reed. I drafted him twice. But I had him like in my 5th round. Kyler Murray, running back, 948 yards, touchdown in 2024. But he ain't bad. Yeah, he ain't bad. He's like a good size back. Yeah, he not bad. All right, Riley Leonard. cornerback. See who else the Colts is going to pick. The Eagles is next. And then the Seattle Seahawks. Then follow that by the Bengals. But yeah, the Eagles, they made some solid, but they got two linebackers. I'm like, but the other guy. I think he's a middle linebacker. Yeah, he's more a middle linebacker. The other guy is an outside linebacker. The guy they got in the first round. All right, Philadelphia Eagles on the clock. Next is the Seahawks. Yeah, but like I was saying, yeah, they got an outside linebacker and an inside linebacker. But they still ain't driving edge rusher. But that guy's not an edge rusher. You know, he got the height to be an edge rusher, but he ain't got the weight. He ain't big enough to. He had to put on 15 pounds. Tim Smith, D-line, Bama. All right, Eagles is on the clock. Eagles is on the clock. The pick is in now. Seattle's on the clock now. Seattle's on the clock. See who my Eagles gonna pick. They on the clock. Seattle. Miles Henson. Tackle. Okay. But I knew they were gonna get an old tackle. Because I said they were gonna get an inside tackle and an old tackle. Seattle on the clock. The pick is in for Seattle. And then the Bengals is on the clock. Michigan usually do have some good tackles and good guards. They usually they producing a lot of good old linemen. The thing about Michigan. They producing a lot of old linemen. The pick is in for Seattle, but they producing a lot of old linemen, good old linemen. But Jacksonville Jaguars is on the clock. And Bryce Cookadoo, offensive tackle. That's for the Seattle. And Taji Brooks, running back from Texas Tech. And Chicago Bears is next. Eagles pick again at 207. The Eagles got to get an edge rusher in this draft. They got two linebackers. They actually need a edge rusher. They need a third edge rusher. They got their Van Geekel player, and actually their Van Geekel player actually was Jealous Hunt because he's good in coverage. But I think they want to keep Jealous Hunt at edge. But you don't even know if them other two edge rushers gonna even make the team. Ichi and the other guy, you don't even know if they even gonna make the team. All right. The Jaguars got Jalen McLeod, linebacker, Auburn. And Bears got Luke Newman, who tackle Michigan State. And then Detroit Lions is on the clock. Denver's next, followed by the Green Bay Packers. The Packers. The Packers. Well, the Packers look like they traded that pick. No, they didn't. Detroit's still on the clock. Still on the clock. The pick is in for Detroit. Detroit, baby. Detroit. What? Detroit. 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 Uh, Denver Broncos on the clock. And the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay's on the clock. No, Denver's still on the clock. Green Bay's next. And I think the pick about to be in. Then it's the Chargers. Yeah, I'm trying to see who the Eagles are gonna pick. They got a lot of picks in the 6th round. I kind of like that quarterback the Eagles got. I thought that was a really good pick. Packers on the clock. Chargers next. The pick is in for the Texans. Yeah, but in the Fangio scheme, you get safeties up, everything up the middle is important. But our edge played decent, but we had great secondary play. That's one reason why we won the Super Bowl. We had great secondary play. Did we ain't had the 70 sacks? Cause we wasn't great up the middle. Yeah, even though we were great on the edge. The pick is in for the Texans. Then it's the Chargers. Packers is on the clock. They're taking a long time for this Houston pick. It's 6th round. Y'all need to start doing like 2 minutes. Giving everybody 2 minutes. Packers is on the clock. Dang, CJ Stroud got sacked 52 times. He had no offensive line. Yeah, he had no offensive line. Their offensive line was trash. You know, they got Christian Kirk. Jaguars was giving up all their receivers. Trevor Lawrence to me is trash. I don't believe he a good quarterback. But they gave him that money. They shouldn't even gave him that money. He's garbage. Yeah, he almost had 4,000 passing yards. You talking about Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts still had 20 touchdowns. If he played it, yeah, he would still at least had 20. He probably been on pace for 22 touchdowns. They was messing with Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts probably would still had. He probably would have finished with probably like 3,500 passing yards. If he would have played the last game. Packers is on the clock. Packers been on the clock for a while. Why they got them on the clock this long? It must be his girlfriend. It took the Packers a long time. How long they getting the Packers? Chargers is on the clock. They taking the full. They should not be getting them 5 minutes. This is the third day. You need 2 minute, 2 or 3 minute. Yeah, 2 minute. It should only take you should be on the clock 2 minutes. The Packers pick is in for the Packers. Pick is in. Yeah, and the Eagle and Detroit Lions, they got that Egyptian edge rusher. Yeah, from Boise. Then you got Graham Mitch, quarterback, Warren Brunson, DL. The biggest in for the Chargers. Jaguars is on the clock. It took the Packers a little too long to get him Warren Brunson. It shouldn't have took them that long. The Jaguars on the clock. Got 7 more picks to the Eagles. All right. The pick is in for the Jags. And Minnesota Vikings is on the clock. Minnesota got back-to-back picks. They might get a defensive tackle. The Eagles don't want the edge. They got 2 linebackers. But it's so deep with edges. Yeah. Got Ja Joyner. Yeah, you gotta get an edge in this round. We had to get an edge. A lot of the edges. Yeah, you got Ja Joyner. I would get Ja Joyner or Anthony. I like his size. No Kobe King for the first one. Who Minnesota gonna pick next? And that Baltimore Ravens is on the clock. Dallas Cowboys on the clock. Ravens shows LaJoyde Winster, wide receiver. And Minnesota shows Gavin, but tight end from Pitt. The pick is in for the Cowboys. Washington's now on the clock. Then the Buffalo Bills, followed by the Philadelphia Eagles. But yeah, I want the Eagles to get like Josh Schoner that or APR. I like APR. Yeah, I like it, and I like APR. Washington Commanders is on the clock. But Minnesota got a nice little tight end. And I wonder what they going to do with Dallas Goddard. Because they haven't drafted no tight end. Replace him. Commanders. They pick is in. Bills is on the clock. Next is my Eagles. We got we got two picks. All right. Commanders got King, Metro, Metro. He's a linebacker. Ergen Condulis. He's a O lineman, inside O lineman. The pick is in for Buffalo. Eagles is on the clock. My Eagles. I'm not really that big of a fan of Jay Ivory, but I'd rather have Ja Joyner or APR. Where I'm gonna get the edge rusher. But they got to pick an edge rusher. They got two linebackers. They really not edge rushing linebackers. Pick is in for the Eagles. And Buffalo Bills pick Chase Newman, old tackle out of UConn. Carolina's on the clock now. See who the Eagles pick. My Eagles. They got to get an edge rusher. And they picked another tackle. And how many tackles they getting? Yeah, they got another tackle. They doubling up on. But this is a deep lineman drive. It is a deep lineman drive. Most all the linemen in the fifth and sixth round. I think they just stacking up that. The pick is in for the Panthers. The Eagles is back on the board. So they got to at least get one edge rusher. The other guy could probably with a guard, more of a guard. Yeah, Philly's on the clock. Philly is on the clock. One more round. Philly is on the clock. The pick is in for the Carolina Panthers. And my Eagles is back on the clock. Then follow the Ravens, Arizona Cardinals, Baltimore, going harder than Baltimore. I'm going to go harder than Baltimore. Then the Raiders, then the Chargers, then the Raiders again, then the Denver Broncos. Well, Carolina picked up Jimmy Horn, wide receiver out of Colorado. Eagles is on the clock. Pick is in for the Eagles. Baltimore is on the clock now. I want to see what this Eagles pick is. Panthers, they needed a wide receiver, but they should have got a wide receiver earlier. Yeah, I guess the Eagles got like two old tackles. Yeah, because they was just in case one don't hit. Yeah, I said APR. I love that pick. I knew they were gonna get. I figured. I said they were gonna get Josh or APR. I like APR. Yeah, because that was one of my favorite edge rushers in the draft. APR. That's I like. I really like APR. I said he'd fit perfect with it. I said they had to get another edge rusher, and they got it. Cause I think if Fancher wasn't there, I don't think they would even pick APR. But they, I really like that pick. I really like that pick. I like APR even more. That was my favorite. That's probably my favorite edge rusher in the draft was APR. Arenas Peoples, but they had to get an edge rusher in this round. They had to. That definitely not a C. That and they got him. That was a great pick. Nah, APR. I think he's gonna be like more like Jalen Hunt, but I think Jalen Hunt a little bit better than because Jalen Hunt can play coverage. They thought Jalen Hunt wasn't gonna be that good. I like Jalen Hunt. I see some skills. I mean, he got potential to see if he got a great work ethic and knowledge of the game. I mean, he'd be just fine because he had the talent. Yeah, the natural thing because he used to play safety. But they gave that a C. That was a solid A to B. And the only reason they gave it a C because they had Ja Joyner and the other guy ranked ahead. which I thought APR was better than both of them. Yeah, I liked him better than Josh Joyner. That was an excellent pick. Baltimore, Aaron Peoples was on the Ravens. And he got picked by the Ravens. Hitting corner inside O lineman from Texas, from the Cardinals. Baltimore on the clock, but the APR pick was a good pick. I had picked him a lot on my mock draft. That's a real good pick. I don't know why they gave him a C plus. That was a yeah good, but I think they gave him a C plus because I don't even think that was even a reach because he was ranked what 191. That's not a reach. But he got picked ahead of two other DNs. Yeah, but I thought he was better than both of them. But that chick ranked ahead of him, and the other guy was ranked ahead. John Joyner was ranked out. Yeah, that's why they give you a C. Yeah, they give you a lesser grade, especially this suit. But I don't think he's lacking the idea. I think he's wrong on that. Ingram, whoever's writing that, CBS. Yeah, he got good inlet, good one. He's 6'4". They talking about his arm length, right? Yeah, he's 6'4". His height, yeah, he's 6'4". You're 6'4". That's a good yeah height to be an edge rusher. Yeah, I ain't gonna hurt you from batting ball. For an edge rusher. Yeah, that sounds stupid. Oh yeah, height hurt your arm. Yeah, they CBS don't know what the fuck they talking about because you want that 6'3", 6'4". You don't want no shirt and no 6'1" edge rusher. Yeah, that is goofy. And when most offensive linemen are like 6'4", 6'5", yeah, 6'4". Most offensive linemen are like 6'5". That sound real goofy. That don't even make sense. And he looks long. I think he'd be fine against the run. Yeah, I think he'd be fine. They just that's not. He's very long. Yeah, I didn't get that. He looks very long. They don't like his height. Oh, he's 6'4". His height too tall. I was like, you want a guy that's 6'3", 6'4". He's 6'4". That's an ideal height for an edge rusher. Now I don't want you to be 6'6". That's you a little too tall to be an edge rusher. But 6'3", 6'4", that's an ideal height to be an edge rusher. he looks like he's long. So that's yeah. What they saying don't even make sense. That was a great pick. That was a really great pick. Yeah, yeah. It don't even make sense. That was a great pick. That was an outstanding pick. The pick is in for the Raiders. I'm sorry, but yeah, CBS. I don't think they know what they talking about. That was an outstanding pick. I think he'll learn because he's not starting right away. So you probably got to learn how to set the edge. That was a good pick. Your APR. I love that pick. Or we at the bottom of the sixth round. The Cardinals got Hayden Hayden Connor, inside lineman. The Ravens got Robert Bean, cornerback. Raiders got Raiders got Tommy Mullet, QB, the quarterback, and the Chargers is on the clock, followed by the Raiders and the Broncos. But I like that. I like that APR pick. That was a great pick. That was a great pick. Chargers on the clock. Raiders on the clock again. And the pick is in for Chargers. But I can't get over that. They picked one of my favorite plays in the draft, APR. I liked that pick. Chargers got RJ Mickens, safety. Raiders still on the clock. The Eagles not even picking in this part of the draft. So they did that last pick in the 6th round. So I'm gonna finish it with this. After this round, I'm done. Since the Eagles not picking. I think that's it. And the Eagles picks, because we had a lot of picks in the 6th round. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 picks in the 6th round. Yeah, but I love that yard pick. The Raiders chose Cam Miller, quarterback in Nebraska. Yeah, 6 and Eagles not picking no more. Yeah, this is gonna be in the last round. I do. Mm. All right, and the Denver Broncos is on the clock. Finishing out this round. Yeah, I'm finishing out this round. This is gonna be the last one I do. But yeah, that APR pick, that was a great pick. The APR pick is a great pick. They topped it off. I said they gotta get an edge rusher. But they felt their positions. They got the safety. They didn't get the tight end, but it wasn't a deep tight end draft. This draft wasn't a deep tight end draft, and I ain't seen them getting receivers because the receivers were trash. You might have one or two decent receivers. Most receivers in this draft was trash. But the pick is in for Broncos just to finish it off because the U's not picking in the second round. So I'm gonna do the second round. The pick is in. The pick is in for the Broncos. The pick is in for the Broncos. But I'm loving that APR pick. That pick was a great pick. Jeremy Crawford is a punter. Well, that concludes our drive. I'm gonna come back later and and do an analysis on the picks. This is Crown Prince Team signing out. Don't forget to click and subscribe to the channel. Peace.